Hi everybody, I'm Taluka from Markers and Minions. Welcome to my Facebook group. So tonight's live video is just going to be geared towards your needs as we finish up this school year. What have you figured out this year? What has worked well? What do you still need help with? Just kind of a way for us to finish up the year with some really good ideas. So we can finish it up strong and then also carry some of these ideas over to the next year. So just hop on, ask a question, hear it get answered, hop off, come back later, that kind of thing. I also did a quick post earlier today and I asked a few of you what you needed help with or support with, and I got some answers there, so I'll be referring to that list as well. And if you've got any great ideas, feel free to share. And so this can be more of like a conference or a collaborative type of video tonight. I'm not going to be planning anything because I am all caught up still. So hi Lynn, hi Amanda, how are you guys? Let's see. So a few updates. May 19th in Sacramento, which was our second date that we added for our workshop symposium Saturday session, is now full. So I don't think the registration is closed yet officially, but we are at our max capacity for both Sacramento dates now. We still have room for Burbank, but that one's filling up pretty fast too. We don't have very much room left for Burbank. Burbank is going to be Saturday, April 21st at the Marriott, and then the first Sacramento date is April 28th at the Courtyard Marriott, and then the second Sacramento date is Saturday, May 19th. Thanks, Lynn. It's crazy. I'm so excited. So yeah, that's two now that have sold out. Woohoo! What else? The updates I have for you this week are I finished every grade except 6th grade for the new spelling and grammar. So if you have that on your TPT, you can just click download again and it'll replace your old file. If you want to keep your old file, just make sure that's saved to your desktop somewhere. And then this one you'll get for free because you've already purchased the other one. And it's like all new activities. It's got more like interactive word sorts, more use of like highlighters and colored pencils and fun stuff. It incorporates the week's vocabulary words, which the last ones did not do. And they also have better folding. Actually, I have one here I can show you. So now when you print it out, it's going to look like this. It's 3 per side. So it matches up with the week skills. And when you print it, you just click flip on short end and then it'll print. It won't be upside down. And then there's no more big black boxes up at the top taking up all your ink. And then there are these little guidelines that you can see so the kids can fold them easier. But yeah, I used to have to, not everyone had to do this, but I used to have to trim the sides of mine because my printer wouldn't, like the fit to page option was weird, and now I don't. So it just folds to the first line, first guideline. And then this one folds over perfectly. So I'm excited about those. 1st through 5th are done. 6th I'm working on. 6th, you have some tough grammar. Lynn. Yeah, the planner. So actually, my planner that I'm designing, that I have designed, someone from this group, her fiance is a printer, and he heard my video last week, I guess it was, and my video about looking for a quote to get it printed, mass printed, and so he said, I can give you this deal, I really want to work with you, and so I've been talking to him, so it's kind of neat that it's someone in this group. However, I sent him my file, and he was like, you need to do this and this and this and this, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to do that, I'm just a I'm not really a designer. So I sent it off to the creative team at my husband's work, and they're working on it and making it all like suitable for what they call it, commercial printing. So it's different than just like printing it off of your regular printer. So there's a little bit of a delay there, but it's coming. Okay, let's see. Hi, Kelly. So happy for the better folding. I was cutting and pasting to make new masters so I wouldn't always have to trim. Oh, you're welcome. Hi, Gail. How are you? What do you use to design your logo, Lynn? Me? My logo? I had someone design it for me. Hi, Ruth. You're welcome. All right. And then if anyone knows, I'm going to be selling the planners at the Saturday workshops. But I also want to make them available on my website, markersandminions.com. And so I've been spending way too many hours on like YouTube and Googling, trying to figure out the back end of a website and how to make websites work. So if any of you or friends or family members or whatever know how to use WordPress, specifically WooCommerce, let me know. I'm trying to get my store all set up so that it can have the planner listed on it with like tax and shipping and all that stuff. Lynn, are you going to take pre-orders? If I can get someone to help me figure out the back end of the website, then I think that that's possible. I'm going to be ordering the planner in batches of 250. So, hi, Kathleen. So as long as I have a few at the Saturday workshops, I can put the rest on the website. And then even when it's not currently printed, I want someone to help me figure out how to do that so that like there's a stock number or like a back order number, and then I can tell the printer like, hey, we need this many. So thank you, Lynn. Okay. Yeah, I put a post out on this group that I'm part of for web design, and I said basically like I need a virtual assistant, but no one really replied. So if you know anyone, it's worth a shot asking here. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to flip screens over to the conversation from earlier where people were posting what they needed additional support in. So, Barb, I don't think you're on here yet, but she says, I need help with timing out my day. I'm wondering how you are fitting in all of Benchmark, plus Step Up to Writing, plus the Big Cheese, plus the amazing projects. I know the projects are often the fourth week, but do you also weave them into the small group time? Okay, let me stop there before I read the rest. All right, so Benchmark, Step Up to Writing, Big Cheese projects. So in the morning when my kids come in, I know a lot of people do like the morning meeting. Instead of that morning meeting, I spend the first like I would say 15 to 20 minutes doing the Big Cheese. So the Big Cheese is this collaborative writing that I do with the kids. We're writing about like a star student that we've selected and we've interviewed that week. We only write a paragraph a day. We take the interview responses, we turn them into good sentences, kind of weaving in, if I remember, weaving in any of the grammatical skills for that week. But it's quick. That's like 10, 15 minutes. And that's also nice because throughout the year, the kids get more comfortable with writing this. And so I can kind of say, okay, write your paragraph about blank today. And I turn around and I take roll and I do all that stuff. So it's kind of, sometimes it's collaborative with me, sometimes it's just their partner, sometimes it's whole class. So that doesn't take up much time. Then I've got my math block all the way to recess. Benchmark I have from 10:40 to 12:05. So my small groups are from 11:30 to 12:05. And so it's one 30-minute block. And the rest of that time from 10:40 to 11:30, that first half, is when I'm doing my ideally 3 lessons a day, where it's the close reading, the spelling and grammar, and the writing. Now, for me, my class, I spend way less time on the spelling and grammar. Sometimes I'll just say quickly, like, look at this word study with a highlighter, spend 5 minutes on it with a partner, so I'm not really doing a direct lesson. Sometimes my close reading lesson takes up the whole time. So it's kind of, I have to be really flexible, and I know I have those planning templates with day 1 through 5 on them, but sometimes even that is getting moved around, and once I'm in the moment, as long as I make sure that my kids are set up for their small groups that week, and as long as I can tell that my standards are spiraling, and my kids can tell the standards are spiraling. Okay, let's see. Hi, Barb. Yay, you're on. Okay, before I get back to the rest of that, Nicole, do you think you will be making the trifolds to incorporate language skills for non-California teachers? The skills are slightly different. Yeah, so I actually only have access to the California version, but there have been some people who've just reached out to me and said, like, hey, my skills don't match up, they're different. And it's happened with the focus wall too. I don't know about the writing or anything else, but with the spelling and grammar and then the focus walls, there's variations. So in that case, people just send me their order number, and then I just send them the editable version, and you can tweak it however you want. Hey, Joan. Okay, let's see. And then after my whole class mini lessons and small groups, we've got lunch. After lunch is crazy, depends on the day, but in my school, and now I don't have ELD. I don't teach ELD. So I don't have that 45-minute or 30-minute block that many of you do. In the afternoons, though, we've got fine arts on Mondays. Tuesdays, we've got PE, then early dismissal, so I'm done teaching Tuesdays by 12:05 by lunchtime. Wednesdays, music and library, which take up the whole afternoon with like 20 minutes in between and 20 minutes after. Thursday, we've got PE for almost an hour, and then social emotional learning for half an hour. And I've got like 20 minutes at the end of the day there. Friday, we've got the computer lab for almost an hour. And then I've got Friday afternoon after the computer lab, which is usually like, oh my God, leave me alone, go silent read while I do like the class store, that kind of thing. So my afternoons are crazy, but that's where I'm trying to squeeze in genre writing, my step up to writing, if I'm working on a genre piece. I haven't done a really long piece like that since Unit 4, my 3 Little Pigs writing. But I've been weaving step up to writing strategies into my benchmark writing. So at least I'm still using that program as well in that way. And then the projects, yes, the 4th week, but also I have recently, like for all our open house projects, I didn't do Unit 6 small groups the way that I have been doing them all year long. I just did projects during that time, and I did more like GLAD team tasks, Project GLAD team tasks during that time. So I'm real flexible with my small groups too. With Unit 7, we're gonna get back onto our small group schedule, which is the using all those components of the program, which I think someone asked about, so we can talk about those in a minute. So let's see. That's how I manage to fit things in. It's just kind of flexible depending on lots of things and really based on what my kids need. So I really make sure to like analyze scores, data, talk to them, and kind of drive my instruction that way. How is it working with one small group a day for 30 minutes? I like it that way, working with one group a day. I know some people do 2 groups a day for 15 minutes. My kids are, I've got my real lows, but then my real highs. But then my 2 groups in the middle there, I started out the year with like medium, low, and then mediums, but those groups now have really bumped up. So I've got my real low group, and then the rest of them are pretty much at grade level now. So the 30 minutes for me is working, just seeing them once a week. But again, I think it depends on your kids' needs. Your other kids are working in partners, doing the trifold and text-dependent questions. Is that going well? Yeah, so I have, for my small groups, I have heterogeneous teams. So they're mixed highs, lows, you know, the leaders. So they're pretty self-sufficient in their team. They don't need me. And then I've also got my homogenous reading groups. Those are the ones that I pull every day. So my homogenous reading groups, I'm pulling from my teams. So I've got, 4 teams. And then I pull, you know, a kid from here, maybe 2 from here, and then 2 from here. They're all at the same level, and they come and sit at a table with me, and I'm doing the leveled readers. Meanwhile, the ones that are sitting around the room, they're in their teams, they're not needing me. They're visiting their station for the day. I've got the trifold pamphlets, and they're working either on their own with a partner or the whole team collaboratively. I don't apply any sort of structure to that. I let the leaders kind of dictate how things are going to work. And then I have another group is working on writing, and then another group's working on the text-dependent questions. And then I have the tech center too, and they're listening. And I've taken a suggestion of some of the group members in here. My listening center is mainly listening to the leveled reader that they are assigned that week. So it's a little more prep on my end because I have to meet with each kid and let them know, like, hey, this is your leveled reader for this unit. So when you come to me at this table, this is what we're reading. But when you're at the tech center, I want you to preview that text and listen to it. So there's that, and you can also put questions on there. So that's what my kids are doing during their small groups. And I have those materials just prepped at the start of a unit. I send it all to the print center. I get these back for all 3 weeks, the spelling and grammar. I have the text-dependent questions bookmarks for the read to self. This is just 1 per unit, so it's really easy to just copy for the unit. And then this I have to copy every week. It's the writing. So they're in their group, in their teams, this is specifically what they're working on, that finding that evidence and then the drafting. It takes a while for the kids to become independent in this, though. And I'm always doing this part with them, the first writing lesson, analyze the prompt. So those are all my centers, and that's what they're doing. Any ideas for bumping up vocabulary for 4th grade? Oh, I've never heard that. I always hear the opposite, that vocabulary is hard. Bumping up vocabulary. So do you let them find their own words, or do you use the list in the back of the text for closed reading, this one? The very back. There's those words. You can push this into your word work center. That's an option. Let's see. Lynn, do you have them read it once in the tech center, or is the first thing they do each time they visit? We read it together when they visit me as well. Because I do want them to practice that fluency still. So when they do come sit with me, my first session with them, the first time we're reading, I have them sit, I don't know if it's Kagan, where like one kid sits this way and the other kid sits this way next to each other, and they're ear to ear, and they read to each other. So I have them read it out loud that way, and we just focus on the fluency and getting through it. Sometimes I've done it where I've read it to them first, but again, my kids are most of them are at grade level now, so. Barb, and then they complete whatever it is for that one visit. Yes. So they have one task a day. So I meet with one group a day. Meanwhile, my teams have one task a day. So whatever their task is that day, that's what they're working on. And then I don't have a new task on Fridays. So I've got the writing, the tech, the read to self, and the spelling and grammar. So that's Monday through Thursday, and then the teams rotate through those 4 centers. Friday, everybody, and Fridays sometimes I'm like, don't even sit with your team, just sit by yourself somewhere quietly, catch up, finish whatever you didn't finish during the week, whether that be your bookmark, whether that be your spelling and grammar, your writing, or if you finished all that, hop onto a computer, that kind of thing. Okay. Kelly, what day do you usually analyze the prompt using the writing foldable? Day 1. My day 1 is always me reading the weekly text to them, going over this part of the pamphlet. This is how I teach it too. I just go through this. Our scale is short vowels, blah, blah, blah. Well, what are the short vowels? Let's find them. Let's underline them, let's highlight them, whatever. And then we'll go through our grammar, and these are your skills. Give me some examples. Turn to a partner, blah, blah, blah. This is not long. And then I do the analyze the prompt last, typically. And I say, okay, we've read this story. Now let's look at this prompt. What's our topic? What source are we going to bring in? And what type of writing is it for this week? And I have to do the writing day 1 because I've got someone already going to the writing center. So that's something that I have to keep in mind is like whoever's going to the writing center that day, the only writing that they have for the week is my help analyzing it, and they've heard the text once. So it's harder for them that first day, but they can do it still. Kathleen, kind of both, but putting it in word work might help. Yeah, so I have you can push that into word work. You can also have them in a word work station, reread the text, highlight words that are unfamiliar, and then get out a dictionary or whatever, a tablet, and use a reference material and find select the meaning that would best fit the context, and then they're kind of choosing their own vocabulary, and you can say, find 3 in this session, or find 5 or whatever, and then show me in your margins or in your notebook. Lynn, all right, last week I got through all the lessons by Thursday. Good for you. That's quite an accomplishment. Okay. All right, let's see. Barb, going back to your questions earlier, I have so many low readers. I'm trying to do 2 20-minute groups, so you would need 40 minutes then, and plus transition time. But I don't feel my others are strong enough to do the trifold and text-dependent questions on their own. Do you feel like your whole class is not strong enough? Do you have like one strong kid at least that you can put in each team that can kind of be a tutor or a coach? Maybe I should just let them grapple with it. Then do we go over it whole class? I don't ever go over it whole class anymore, but you should probably if your kids are struggling, or if you need that accountability for your kids. Maybe that could be a Friday thing. Maybe you can take out one of those centers. Do 3 main centers. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday be a catch-up. Friday be let's review and correct all our work day. But then you wouldn't be able to pool your own group on Friday because you'd be helping them correct. Plus I have a 30-minute ELD block every day where my EOs are doing something different. They could work in benchmark, but I don't want my ELs to miss out. So thanks for asking. You need to refresh your course. Are you using the benchmark ELD materials? Because at least that's still related. You're still talking about the same theme, the same essential question. I probably do have a strong enough person per group. Yeah, so that they can be your leader. In my groups, I've got a leader, one leader per team. They're the ones that are like distributing materials, they're making sure everyone's on task, cleaning up. They're my bossy kids that are going to do that anyway. And then I have my tutors, so it's my highest kids in those groups, and I let the kids know, like, hey, these are your tutors, and use them as a resource. So it's not meant to be like, oh, look, they're the tutors. It's more like they're here to help you. Use them because I'm going to be sitting at the table busy with another group. Let's see. Lynn, I call it the dollar chart. It was a BB bulletin board that displayed different shades of meaning. It really helped with developing a strong sense of vocabulary, especially in their writing. So that's another way to incorporate vocabulary. That's cute, like an interactive bulletin board. Okay, let's see. Angela, what day do you really teach the grammar? I know you introduce it on day 1. That's it. I'm a bad grammar teacher. Bad spelling teacher too. Let's see. I'll do like activities throughout the week, like the word study. But my explicit grammar lesson is like, hey, let's read this. Let's highlight a little bit. Let's talk about it for 5 minutes. Let's come up with a few examples, and then that's it. And then I try, if I remember, I can weave that skill into my big cheese every morning when we're doing our writing, that collaborative writing I was talking about. Say, oh, guys, remember, we're learning about common and proper nouns. So we just wrote Elizabeth's name. What do we need to do to that? Capitalize it. Why? It's a proper noun. Things like that. Lynn, her vocabulary bulletin board. This is so cute. $1 words. Okay, so that's why it's called the dollar bulletin board, the dollar chart. $1 words were those that weren't used often, and so therefore harder to use. And it went down to 1-cent words. Those words are overused and the ones that we want to stay away from. I like it. That's a great visual and analogy for them. Hi, Elise. How you doing? Hope you're relaxing now after your busy day. Okay, let's see. Next thing. Maria asked earlier, I'm having trouble with small groups. I have a lot of low readers and it's hard for them to stay on task. One group is with the teacher, one reading, another group working on grammar worksheet that I purchased, and last group working on phonics with aid. So the grammar and phonics is separated. Plus, I'm also doing math groups early in the morning. I do math groups too. Science, ELD. At the end of the day, I'm so tired trying to fit everything in. I'm a 4th grade teacher. Thanks for ideas. If anyone has ideas for her, let us know. I got a lot of leaders in my classroom, so they make sure the kids are on task. You could always do team points too, that kind of thing. I have a class store on Fridays that I use for classroom management. So throughout the week, I'm just casually handing out class dollars here and there, and I'm not the kind of teacher that's good at that. So it's like, oh, when I remember, or if you like gave me a really good answer, here's $1, that kind of thing. And then they can use those dollars if they're granted access to the class store on Friday. And you're only granted access to the class store on Friday if X, Y, and Z. So whatever your class needs to work on. So if they got the most table points that week, or if they were the team that stayed on task and actually finished their whole pamphlet that week, that kind of thing. You just give points. And that's easy to be like, while you're with your group, be like, hey, Zoe, or whoever your leader is, go give your team a point. And they go put it up on the board. That's like a classic management thing. Lane, I would love that. I want to see if I can incorporate that. That sounds cute. Gail, to make sure I teach the phonics, I have a class leader review the pattern every day in our morning routines. I have found the practice pages have been helpful for the kids. Good, that's a good, yeah, like quick thing that they can do every morning. The kids can lead it while you're doing attendance. Go over that skill, spell the words. Joan, when is the state testing for you? Do you keep the rigor of the units up testing after testing or ease up? State testing starts April 16th. Let me look. I thought it was earlier in the end of March, but that's the 5th graders and then the 4th graders, and then it's us. So for us, yeah, it's April 16th. We test for a couple weeks. Afterwards, I'm going to go all out with Unit 8, so I'll keep the rigor up just because it's really fun. And then 9 and 10, I'll probably do casually, like the way I did Unit 6. Amanda, I began using a pocket chart with transition words to use and words to use, so 2 categories. So after we analyze the prompt in the booklet, we discuss orally on the carpet with close read books in hand how we might respond. I like that. As the students are sharing, I'm writing their responses on index cards. I put these up in the pocket chart, and we practice making sentences using ideas shared. That's awesome. So that's very collaborative. That sounds like my big cheese, but I love how you're applying it to the writing that week. After this task, the students work on evidence to support the topic or opinion in the prompt and begin drafting. This activity has helped them to have confidence to write in booklets independently. They're often on the carpet with clipboards writing while I'm pulling groups. There you go. That's a great alternative to like the different stations. That's great. I love that. Okay. I think I answered Sarah's questions about small groups in my other responses. Amanda, you asked earlier, I'd like some ideas for assessing weekly spelling, grammar, vocabulary, and phonics skills. Is anyone doing this? Is anyone using dictation for spelling? I was playing with some ideas for spelling to meet that objective of being able to read words that contain the top pattern. So I've been pulling words from the weekly text and pulling the kids one-on-one for a quick 10-word assessment on ability to read the word accurately with phonics application. Would love to hear what others are doing. That is dedication. So if you have any spelling ideas for Amanda, let us know. Okay, Michelle, she asked earlier, it's our first year with Benchmark, first grade. Would love to know your thoughts or get some guidance on how you align GLAD units to Benchmark, Project GLAD. We've been trying to coordinate this, but typically our science and social studies units are several weeks versus the 3-week benchmark units. Yeah, normally with GLAD, we're used to like those 6 weeks. Now we're looking at trying to cover 2 science and 1 last social studies unit, all in the fourth quarter. Ooh. Do you shorten up your GLAD units or keep them long and just tie in benchmark for the 3 weeks? What about the benchmark units that don't really tie in? Any advice would be appreciated. So Michelle, I've got a free download on my TPT that shows how I've been able to align GLAD, Project GLAD, to every benchmark unit. But yeah, I've gone all out and done long time, like Unit 5. I did a really long GLAD unit with Unit 5. And then some I just try to stick to the 3 or 4 weeks benchmark unit. But you can totally just take your structure of your small groups that you already have in place with your teams, set them up heterogeneous, homogenous, just like Project GLAD would, and then instead of having them work on one of the spelling, grammar, or whatever, have them do team tasks. And then all of the introduction charts are totally Project GLAD based, and then a lot of the lessons I find that I can create charts for, like the input charts that are project led. But I can go and find that link for you that shows you. It's a PD that I created for my district earlier this year when we were first starting school. And so I just put it up there, and I'll post the link for you. Joan, we go until the last week of May. So you go until June 7th. A lot of districts go into June. We have less. We teach 185 days or 190 days, and we have less time off in throughout the year, but we don't go into June at all. Angela, do you have the kids fill out most of the charts, 2-column, 3-column, character analysis, problem solution, etc. during the lesson, or do you usually do whole group? I normally do small whole group. Sorry, I'll do like a chart. I find that the lessons are quicker that way. However, I'm working on like kind of recreating the close reader tasks, the close reading tasks, and I'm recreating those charts and putting them into booklet form. And I've done them for third grade. I created Unit 1 and Unit 2, and then I went to Unit 7 so that I can actually test them out with my class, see if it extends my lesson, see if it's something that works well, that can be extended and applied in a small group center. So at the moment, it's mostly me with the charts, or I'll have them in a team doing a chart versus the individual graphic organizers. But that's something that I'm working on going towards. It's those individual, like, I don't want to call them worksheets, thinking maps or whatever. Elise, I do dictation every week. I give the spelling test and then the dictation sentences. There are 2 sentences. They do not know what they will be, but they use some of the spelling words and patterns that we've been practicing. Joan, so there's only 4 weeks after testing. If you only do 1 more unit, is 8 your favorite? I will have made it to 7. I love 8. Last year I didn't make it to 9 and 10. The year prior I did Unit 9, but I was teaching 2nd grade, and that was pretty fun because it was all about economy. So the kids develop their own product and blah, blah, blah. But I kind of already did that this year with the app design. So I'll probably just do Unit 8. But I might be able to start Unit 8 before testing. Let me see something. So we're on spring break next week. No, I won't. I'll be doing Unit 7 up until testing, and then during testing, I can start Unit 8. Yeah. So I'm probably not going to make it to 9 and 10. Let's see. Courtney, first year with Benchmark, 1st grade. We need help with supporting our struggling readers. We have 2 hours that's allotted to Benchmark. And within that time, we pull 2 small groups for about 15 to 20 minutes. A lot of the intervention materials that we have found are still geared too high. Any suggestions would be appreciated. And then there's a comment underneath it that says, use the kinder materials. Exactly. That's what I would do. I pull as low as 1st grade because you have access to everyone's curriculum on the website. And then depending on how collaborative you are at your site, like I go and get physical copies from 1st grade and 4th grade of the leveled readers and such. Yeah, I think Jones says, do you have allergies? I think so. I don't know. My husband has been coughing for like a month now. He's been really sick. And I think that maybe I have something that he has, but I don't really feel it otherwise. So maybe it's just allergies. I'm exhausted. We're just, our house, we've been moving. So I'm tired. Our final moving day is the 21st, Wednesday. Amanda, I have pulled some of the info out and pre-filled certain criteria on some of the charts. Then we'll focus on the other columns. It definitely helps with time. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you look at the lesson, you've got your model section usually for most lessons, and that's where you're like starting to fill out the chart. So you're doing just one category or two categories, and the kids help you fill out the rest of the chart. So if you just preview that and then have that chart already set up, then that would make your lessons a lot quicker. How's the move? It's good. It's taking a long time. We've been doing a lot of shopping. We're throwing out a lot of our furniture, and so I've been doing a lot of overstock shopping. So that part's been fun. All the physical stuff my husband's doing, so I don't have to deal with that too much. Joan, you've helped me so much this year. Using Benchmark for the first time has been challenging, but your products and chats are invaluable. Thank you. I'm glad I can help. What are we going to do next year when you guys are all pros? Oh, Barb, thank you. Yes. All while, I don't think I've said this, but all while 6 months pregnant. So there's a lot going on. I'm looking forward to the spring break where my only requirements are have my daughter's parent-teacher conference, her first one ever, tomorrow. I'm excited about that. And then the moving and unpacking. And then I'm going to be meeting with Brittany hopefully this week too. I feel saved after finding you. Yay! And I'm going to meet you, right? You're coming to the conference? Thank you, Barb. Cindy says, I'll need help for at least 5 years. Okay, cool. I'll be here. We can still do these videos. Yeah, Tina, we won't be because some of us have to change grade levels. Well, I'm excited because you'll be changing to 3rd, right? There will be a new set of newbies to train. You can be proud of these babies that are ready to help others. That's true. Indeed. Woohoo, Larry, I'll see you there, you and your wife. Thank you, Mindy. Okay. And then I think I've answered all the questions in that post from earlier. I hope I've been able to answer enough. If you ever need any more ongoing support and something that has been talked about, just feel free to bring it up. Small groups are continuously challenging, I know. So, Angela, I just discovered you last week. All right. So I'm definitely still learning and watching. Now I'm excited to keep teaching Benchmark. Yay. Gail, I would like to work on some great projects for each unit and have them prepped or planned out. Would love ideas and collaborative sharing out with ideas. Being that it was my first year, I didn't do as many projects as I would have liked. Good, so next year you'll be more comfortable. You'll know what the units are and what they focus on, and you'll be able to weave in that more of like that hands-on project-based approach. I'd love to see you plan again next year with the updated weekly planning pages. Okay. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, I'll wait a couple more minutes, see if anything else comes in. Woohoo! Thanks, Larry. Can't wait to buy your planner. All right. Thank you. I'm hoping that, so the creative team at my husband's work, they got my file and they were like, did you design this? How'd you design this? And I'm like, just on my computer. I'm not proficient in like Photoshop or anything like that. And so the printer was like, you need these lines on them and it needs to be in this format and these colors. I guess the colors are different when they print commercially. So it's a learning process. Hopefully we can get it done this week though, and because I really want them by the time we do the symposiums. Really want them there. Thanks, Joan. Tina, you need to sell it with a pack of flare pens. I actually looked into flare pens because I was thinking, what's a hard good that I can sell that would be fun to sell, just so I can use my website more, basically. And I looked into the flare pens because my husband gets them made for me with my logo. And I looked into them, and they would be like the same cost as if just going to Target and getting some. So I was like, I don't think that I'm going to do that. But I have a bunch of ones that my husband makes me that I'll give out for free at the symposiums for when we're all planning. And I got a new color. So I have 3 colors now. Gail, message me with what your back end's needs are for the website. Depending on what you need, maybe my hubby can help. Woohoo! Okay, I will. Thank you. It's basic. I'm using WordPress, and I have the online shop is WooCommerce, and I figured out this week how to import the tax codes for every zip code in America. Not that every zip code in America is going to be buying my planner, but I figured out how to do that because apparently tax isn't automatically generated like we're used to when we're just online shopping. Oh, there's the tax that shows up. I had to like put in like coding for that. And it's like, I really don't want to learn this. So there's other things like that, like shipping, that I need to figure out. I'll send you a message. All right. Elizabeth, can you share a little as to what the conference will be like? So it's going to be a full day conference, 8:30 to 3:30, and it'll start out with Brittany and I, talking. We have, between the two of us, we have all these things created. So we'll be talking and presenting, and then I'm really hoping, and I haven't really sat down with Brittany yet and planned all the nitty-gritty like timing details, but I'm really hoping for a large portion of the day for like these focused groups where we can have these different tasks, and we can basically we'll have different objectives, and we'll have this time to make it be a workshop and be collaborative, get to know one another, and actually get stuff done. Because I know for me personally, my favorite workshops are the ones where I leave and I have stuff prepped and I have a goal and I have like action plans, steps, not just like, oh, there's all these great ideas that I heard today. I'm going to go to bed and forget it all and be overwhelmed. So that's my goal for it. So the first half will look different from the second half. Don't have timing and stuff worked out yet or logistics, but that's what I would hope for. Kelly, if we're coming to one of the Saturday sessions, should we bring the TRS that we'll be working on? Anything else we should bring besides the planning pages? Yeah, so I'm going to create like an infographic, like a picture that I'll post a couple weeks before each date saying everything you need. So at the moment, like those planning pages and then, yeah, your TRS, and I'd say like a device if you want to get online and work on the online platform. But once I sit down with Brittany, I'll come up with some sort of infographic, like a checklist. Amanda, so true. Would love to leave having things planned. Exactly. And it's at the end of the year. These symposiums are at the end of the year. So hopefully we're going to be able to have stuff that's prepped for the next year to make easing into next year a little bit easier. fun. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. Larry says, will there be a choice of the TRS we bring? Thinking of planning Unit 1 to start off strong. I think that's a good idea. All right, guys. I'm at the 50-minute mark. So next week, I will be reporting live from a corner of our new house surrounded by boxes. I'll have to figure out where I'm going to set up my desk. Right now, my entire desk and table is disassembled around me, and this computer is just sitting on one of my nightstands. So I might have to do something like this next week, but we won't be sitting here. And so next week, Sunday, 4 p.m., probably do another session similar to this until I really chip away at Unit 7, and then we can start planning for Unit 8 together. You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good night and a good week. And if you guys are on spring break, enjoy your spring break. I think a lot of you, I think we have ours a week earlier than many districts. Oh my gosh, Barb. She's going to be traveling the world. Lucky. All right. Have fun, guys. See you later.